All right, we're back. Here's part two of the series about the buying process, and here's the actual script I came up with to explain to pretty much a first-time home buyer the buying process. And here we go. So, starting out, we're going to talk about the process with you and what it is to buy a home and what it entails. My job as your realtor is to get you from point A to point B, which obviously is the start of the process, all the way down to the very end. So we're going to go through that and we're going to talk about everything that's involved in it and hit the main parts of the buying process. Now remember, we can talk about each part in detail later. This is just a quick version of everything that's going to need to be involved. So think about a track meet and the 110 hurdle race. There's going to be hurdles along the way. There's going to be things we're going to either have to go through, go around, whatever it takes to get to the finish line, and I'm here to help you get there. One of the first hurdles we're going to come across is the lending piece. So I'm going to need you to talk to a lender. I'll give you three names of three different amazing lenders that you can reach out to, and you're going to have a conversation with them, and they're going to basically tell you how much money they'll loan you to buy a home. That's a hugely important piece that we really need before we can even start looking at homes. Now, once you've done that and we get on the next piece, that's the really fun part about real estate. This is where we're going to search for homes. You're going to tell me your price point, where you want to buy a home, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, all the different amazing things. We're going to look at them. We're going to go see them. We're going to tour them. It's a blast. But what really comes into play, the next piece that we have to worry about, a hurdle to get over, is the offer. That's where my expertise comes in. So I will talk to you about the contract, the paperwork, all that stuff that we're going to use to submit the offer. And that's where my expertise actually comes in, is explaining all that sort of stuff. I'm there to get you the best deal we possibly can, give you the best advice we possibly can to get you that deal that we need. Now, once we've done that and you get the house, we're going to love it. That's great. We're going to take this big, deep breath. We think everything's great, and now it's just on to closing. Well, there are still a few hurdles in the way. One of the next ones is the inspection process. You're going to obviously get an inspector, similar to the loan officer. I'm going to give you three different names. You're going to reach out to them, find out who you like the best. Once we're under contract, we're going to get that inspector out there. They're going to do an inspection on the home. Obviously, they're going to find a ton of stuff for you to be aware of. But we're going to be concerned with the safety and defective items mainly. But again, we're going to look over the entire report. We're going to go over it. And according to our contract, you will have the right to ask the seller to fix things or not, depending on what pops up and different stuff. But we'll talk a lot more about that. Now, once we get through this hurdle and this phase and everything's all great and we're moving past the inspection phase, usually what hits next is the appraisal piece. So of course, once we're under contract, the lender's going to order an appraisal because they're going to obviously want to make sure the house is worth what they're going to give you the money for it. So the goal is for the appraisal to work out, everything comes back fine. Once that happens, the final phase is obviously the closing. So this is kind of the hurry up and wait. Let's wait for that closing date. We're super excited. We're kind of through everything. And what you're going to do there is talk to the title company, talk to your lender, and they're going to get you all the right information of here's all the different closing figures you need. Here's what you pay. Here's what it is. Here's how you wire your funds, all that sort of stuff. That's basically the buying process in a nutshell. Again, I'm here to help you, get you from point A to point B, get you through the entire process, and make sure you get in that house you want. All right, that's my script. That's my script for the buying process. I did everything, took people's information, wrote it down, what I would want to tell that person, what I would want to tell that client, and get everything in there, get it concise. I've practiced it. I've done it in front of mirrors. I've done it with other agents in my office, all that stuff. That is my script for the buying process in a quick 2 to 3 minute conversation with the buyer. Obviously, you're going to need to be able to go into each section in more detail, which again, talk to your designated managing broker, talk to other agents in your office, get help for people if you have any questions. Definitely ask them. Hopefully that helps you. Hopefully that's a great explanation of how it is and kind of seeing the script in how it works. So thanks a lot and look forward to the next video.